All right, part two. How we doing out there? Like I said, we want to keep these to right about 30 minutes. You know what I mean? About 30 minutes. And again, we're going to have PDFs at the end for you guys to kind of go back over some of this stuff at your leisure. But one of the most important things, like I said, before we get into the course is understanding the definition of feminism. And like I said, I think that as opposite sexes get together, they kind of go too hard on each other. One of the things I want you guys to always remember, the person you're talking to is not the inventor of the issue. You got to understand that they just was born in it. They just came about it just like you did. And so sometimes we get angry at the person we're talking to like they were the one who invented the problem we got. And so that's not the case. And so everybody's trying to do their best to get the best out the situation. You know what I'm saying? And so what I want to hit on now in these last few minutes that we're going is a few things that I think is very important for us to understand. And, you know, a lot of men, again, for my men out there, until we can understand an issue, it's very hard for us to relate to it or definitely find a solution for it. And one of the questions that you're going to get a lot, one of the questions that I've got a lot, is what is the main purpose? Okay? What's the main purpose of, again, a situation where in the past, like I said, roles were defined, and now all of a sudden we're at a point where that's just not acceptable. And so we got to understand, it said feminism advocates for women's rights and gender equality. Now, again, like I said, we're going into a new phase. So where before you just was dealing with the women's rights, we got a whole gender movement that's coming where that's a whole nother subject. But again, we have to be mentally ready to accept all these new life choices that's coming at us and understand we all here together. So you can't kill all the women, you can't kill all the transgender people, you can't kill all the men. We here together, so we got to figure this out. However, feminist theories are not restricted to women's issues, but also promote power sharing, leadership, the collaborative work in order to establish respect and acceptance for diversity amongst all members of society. And so I think, I think most people will agree that women aren't asking for something that they don't deserve in the bare basic understanding of feminism. I think where the issue comes in is when it involves the man. And see, this is what I mean by that. Again, when a man's when a man's objective has to double in size, just like I told you about just being able to say what you want in a relationship, taboo. Being able to say equal pay for equal work, then you got to do the equal work. If I got to come and lift half the work, if you get to use the term hun, whenever you don't want to do something, or you get to wear a low-cut dress, or when you get to manipulate the situation, where the only thing that's equal is that we share in the same space. But if a heavy box come in, I gotta lift that. If something's gotta be put up, I have to still use chivalry, but you can still get paid the same. See, this is where the problem comes in. And this is where, like I said, women can completely, they turn a deaf ear to that. And where men don't have a platform to voice that. But I do not think anybody is saying that women don't deserve to be treated equal. It's what the definition of equal is. Again, if you tell a woman with short hair, as an example, well, I don't like women with short hair. Oh, dude, you have just started a war. But if a woman tells a man, I don't like a man with red hair, then she just don't like a man with red hair. So the inequality in being able to have an understanding of what is really equal is where the problem is, in my opinion. It's not so much that women don't deserve what they're getting. People want to know what's some examples. What are some examples of feminism? So people go, okay, you can get generic with this. And again, we're going to hit different generalities. But right now, just in a generic term, what is feminism? The right to vote. Do you know women didn't have the right to vote for a long time until they started saying, hey, I live here too. That was a need for feminism. Run for public office. They couldn't run for president, vice president, city council. They couldn't run for nothing. Yet They were part of the fabric of every like I said, every culture. Equal pay. Again, men are always going to have an issue with equal pay because, again, just because of the root of feminism, in most cases, women aren't expected to do equal work. Like I said, if it comes to being physical, if it comes to problem solving, right now, it is the man's job to get that done. Yet the pay is the same just because you occupy the same space and have the same title. You see what I'm saying? So that's always going to be, depending on who you're talking to, a misconception. Owning property. Again, why can't a woman own property? If she can afford it or if it's handed down to her, well, why she can't own it? Receive an education. Did you know in our country, United States, prior to World War II, women couldn't go to college? And if you look at some of the countries out in the Middle East, women still don't have they can't drive, they can't go to school. So this is where feminism is needed. Enter contracts. Like I said, it used to be a time where women could not sign a contract. Her name was void, which is why she got the last name of the husband. So basically, when she took his last name, her existence was void. That's not cool. So they also say within a marriage, again, men gonna have a problem with that because, again, feminism has changed the concept of what, example, 50-50. And we'll talk about, we'll use an example of Tom Brady. You guys know about him. The best football player in the history of the NFL at quarterback. His wife, they are going through a divorce. At the end of this divorce, money's going to come up. Now, whether she's thrown a football or not, whether she's been to a pregnant or not, just the fact that she had his children and she was his wife, and based on our law, not based on Tom Brady's wife, our law says she deserves half everything that he's made while they have been married. Again, if you get a prenuptial agreement, that's what you get before. But Tom Brady's been married since he's been in the league. So half. Now, mind you, she probably don't clean the house. Tom Brady's the GOAT. So her chores or what she does was not what was thought about when they wrote 50-50. This was a lady at home cleaning the house, taking the kids, walking them to school. Like I said, I mean, she did, even though she didn't do the work you did at work, what a housewife brings to the game. I'm telling you, if you ever took care of a house, that is harder than going to work. So based on that, 50-50 is no problem. But based on what a woman does now is where the issue is. And so, like I said, right or wrong, that's where the issue is. Maternity leave. Like I said, once women got jobs, like I said, prior to women having a job, didn't matter about maternity leave because they was at home. But now, when they working, and like I said, their jobs are just as important as your job, but they are female, so they can still get pregnant. You can't get pregnant. There is no maternity leave for you. You're going to work every single day unless you have a cold, flu, break a leg. Women can get pregnant. They can have female issues where they may not be able to make it to work. And it's just it is what it is. So when they make these laws, they had to put in paternity leave. Now, she still got to get paid. She still keeps her job. You can't leave your job for those 6-8 months. No, hell no. These are where the issues are. And so, like I said, we're not here to bash anybody. You know what I'm saying? We are here to explain so that you understand the definition of feminism, what it is, why we have to live in this bubble and we all have to exist in it. And like I said, whether it's your daughter, whether it's your sister, whether it's your coworker, whether it's your girlfriend, your wife, your mother, your auntie, you see what I'm saying? All these are women. And this is why we have to be very careful as men, the words that come out of our mouth. Because again, we have women in our families, women in our life that we respect. And we would never want someone to mentally feel the hatred that some men feel about femininity. But on the same token, men, you have to stand up, speak out. You have to be willing to take, like I said, whatever the consequences are for you speaking your mind, for you wanting the equality that they talk about, which right now is not equal. Like I said, the feminism is up here. There is no massivism. You can, like I said, you can say what you want to say, but you're going to be stereotyped. Where women can just, like I said, right now, you do see changes coming, where you have more social groups, you have things like the boot camp, you have more places where men can come together and kind of relax and go back into the situation without being so defensive. And I think when men are defensive is when you start saying and doing things that you probably don't mean. And it's because you just feel like you can't win. You feel like you have no way out. Like I said, no matter what you do is wrong. Like I said, and this is today's world. No matter what you do is wrong. It's already premeditated. They do not forget, except for the good stuff. So the bad stuff, like I said, it can be 10 years later, and they're going to remember, hey, well, it's a different, and primarily because it's on recording. It's either on social media, you didn't put it out there, it's there. And so it's not like back in the old days where women had to actually think of this stuff. All they got to do is hit the Facebook channel, or whatever the social media is. So again, we want to end today's show or today's course with the fundamentals of learning the definition of feminism. And we'll have the next course. Make sure you check out video 2, and that's how to react. How do you react to this? We talked about what it is, but we didn't talk about how to react. So again, love you guys. Thank you for coming. Men's International Boot Camp. See you later.